Hey, you there, you clicked on this video because you want to learn about nomenclature, otherwise known as naming.
Do you know any jokes about sodium hyperbromide? Nah, bro. And why do we need an accepted naming system? Well, say you go to the pet store and you're like, let me get a raccoon. And the owner's like, okay, I'll bring you out a raccoon. And he brings you out what you think is a squirrel. How crazy would that be?
That would be crazy, and I wouldn't want that to happen to me. And chemists don't want that to happen to them either. So today we will be learning about how to name covalent and ionic bonds along with binary and ternary acids.
Let's get ready to rumble. Covalent deals with two nonmetals. And with these, you're going to add prefixes that correspond to the subscripts below the elements, seen on the table below. Now, one thing you have to remember is that you never use mono in front of the first element when there's just one atom. And don't forget that the ending must be changed to "ide" of the second or last element. Alright, here we have some examples when we would use covalent naming rules. We have phosphorus and hydrogen, both two nonmetals. Here, we would not use any prefixes because it only has one atom and it's in the front. So you move on to hydrogen. You have 3, making it tri. So you get phosphorus trihydride. Now the second one is when you would use a prefix in the first. So you have dinitrogen, and there's a 3, so dinitrogen trioxide.
Now we're going to name binary ionic compounds. First you start with a cation, which is a metal, and then you'll name the anion, which is a nonmetal. You're going to name the metal normally, unless it's a D block, and then you're going to use a Roman numeral for the charge. And then you'll name the nonmetal with the ID ending. So for number 1, we have NaCl, which is sodium, and then we'll have chloride, because we're going to add the ID ending. And for this one is iron oxide, but we have to add iron 2 because it has a 2 charge and it's a D block element. And then for the last one, we have iron and nitride, and it'll have a number 3 charge because it has 3. So I'll have a number 3 Roman numeral because it's a number 3 charge. Okay, now we're going to name polyatomic ionic compounds. Instead of a nonmetal, there's going to be a polyatomic ion on the end. So first you're going to name the metal normally, and then you're just going to name the polyatomic name. Okay, now we're going to practice. The first one, you just name it normally, so it's calcium hydroxide. And then for the second one, it's magnesium, and then we look on our chart and we see that that is nitrate. Okay, we're going to talk about binary acids. It contains a hydrogen and another element. The basic naming formula for the binary acids is a hydro prefix, and then your element plus ic, and then the ending of acid. Okay, we have some examples here. We look at our first one and we see a hydrogen and a chlorine. And so we use our hydrogen prefix, hydro. We see the chlorine, so we use the root word, chlor. We add ic and acid, hydrochloric acid. When we look at our second one, it also has 2 elements. It's a hydrogen and a phosphorus. We use our hydro prefix, and then phosphor for our root word, add ic and acid, and it's hydrophosphoric acid.
Alright, so you just learned about binary acids. That was pretty simple, and I think you're ready to step it up a notch. Let's learn about ternary acids. So this is going to be hydrogen. This time, instead of an element, it's going to be with a polyatomic ion. So it's really easy because we can use a formula. You'll have the polyatomic root plus the ending you change plus acid. Ic will result from 8, and ite will go to us. An easy way to remember this is if you ate something, it's going to be icky later. And it's not for I, it's for us. All right, let's look at some examples. On our first example, we have the polyatomic perchlorate. 8 goes to ic. Perchloric, add the ending, perchloric acid. Looking at our next one, we have nitrite. Ite goes to us. Nitrous acid.
Resources?
Resources?
Did you just say resources?
No, I said resources.